If I can have your attention here in the deadline room, we will continue on with today's Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series media availability. And we're joined by the man of the hour right now, Kyle Larson, driver of the number 42 Target Chevrolet for Chip Ganassi Racing, fresh off his win at Auto Club Speedway, and also your Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series points leader for the second week in a row. Talk about the week and celebrating the win. What did you do to kind of cap off that win and have some fun?
Yeah, we Sunday after the race, victory lane stuff takes a couple hours, but ended up leaving, heading to the airport, and getting a car accident on the way there. A guy ran a red light in front of us, and we hit him. And then we flew to Northern California, drove to St. Helena, hung out with Rico's family and my parents and a lot of our friends, which was cool. Then I was pretty busy all week because I had the NBC guys follow me for the Racing Roots thing that we were doing there, follow me around my hometown. And then Wednesday, I ran a World Outlaws race, and then yesterday we flew back here, had a lot of delayed flights, and got landed and got to my house about 9:30, showered, and then came here, got here about midnight. So been an extremely busy week, but a lot of fun and really cool to be the point leader still and having the speed that we've had. So hopefully we can keep it going and have a good weekend here at Martinsville.
Good deal. We'll open the floor up for questions. If you have a question for Kyle, please raise your hand and we'll get a wireless microphone to you. We'll start there with the gentleman there in the back next to Chris.
Tony Bullock, Courier Tribune. Kyle, could you just talk about what you feel like you need to have a successful weekend here in Martinsville? You obviously got the cars, you've got confidence and momentum on your side, but what do you need to do to have a great weekend?
Yeah, Martinsville, I'm glad to have a 29-point lead coming into Martinsville because this is my worst racetrack we go to, probably, even though we ran well last year. I've gotten better at it each time, but it's still not a track where I'm extremely comfortable at. I can go fast, in qualifying or early on tires, but I struggle at saving my stuff. So, got to get better at that. If we could get a top 5 or top 10 here, that'd be a huge success. We finished third last year. You never know. Our cars are so good right now. Maybe we could contend for a win. I'd like for it to continue to rain today so I could start on the pole, but we'll see. So, yeah, it's a tough place and tough to complete 500 good laps here.
Okay, we're going to go to Mike, then to Lee, then to Al, then to Bob, and then to Kenny.
You expect us to remember that?
Absolutely.
Mike Henry, USA Today. Kyle, we've got teams dealing with the substitute crew chief thing again. Well, how do you see the impact of that, and how might it affect Daniel in particular, who's still young at all this, still relatively new? Would it be more of an impact for him?
I definitely think it'll be more of an impact for Daniel than the rest of everybody, because he's so new to the Cup Series as well as the language barrier there. But every other team, and maybe even Daniel's team, they're all so prepared and so professional that I don't think it. Obviously you want your primary crew chief there, but like I said, everybody's so prepared and smart, and even on the race weekends, the primary crew chief is still here somewhere, helping out. So the substitute crew chief is really just there to kind of help call the race. So I don't think it's as big of a deal as what people make it out to be.
Go to Lee, then to Al, Bob, Kenny.
Lee Spencer, Motorsport.com. So what exactly did happen with the car wreck? I mean, what's how did that all unfold?
Yeah, so I think the person that we hit, he was one of the actual traffic coordinators, setting cones out and stuff, I think. And I don't think he had realized that they had picked the cones up from the side that we were coming from, so he didn't I don't think he expected anybody to be coming from where we were, and he just darted out in the intersection, and yeah, we hit him in the right front. We were able to get turned a little bit before we hit him, so it honestly didn't even hurt that bad, or at all, really. Our Chevy Suburban was good. The hood was buckled, and left front was messed up. The toe was out of it quite a bit, but that guy's truck was, the right front was not a part of it anymore. So it was just a kind of a funny it is a funny story. Just the irony of it, I guess. Having a near perfect weekend and a quarter mile from the track, getting a car accident. So.
Did he know who you were?
I don't think he did, but once the cops showed up, I think they realized who I was, and it was pretty funny. So.
Did they realize you were the race winner?
Yeah. So, that was cool. They were quick about it, too.
Go next to Al.
Yeah, Kyle, Al Pearson, Auto Week. Would you eventually have gotten to Cup without the diversity program, or would you have likely stayed at open wheel cars without the diversity program?
I would, I would be here. I don't want to make the diversity program sound like it wasn't beneficial, but I definitely would have been here had I not been a part of that. I was already signed up with Chip Ganassi Racing before I did the diversity thing. We did the diversity thing to help save Chip some money that first year of me racing. That way he didn't have to fund a full K&N program out of his pocket. I was able to go run for Red Racing and save him, probably at least $500,000. So it was still good for my career to get that experience and be with a good race team and win some races and a championship that year. But for sure, I was already under contract with Chip, and if they had to, I'm sure he would have flipped the bill, but it saved him some money there in the beginning.
But would you have run his open wheel program or his stock car program?
Oh, I get what you're saying. No, my plan was to go NASCAR racing the whole time. I signed up as a development driver for Chip Ganassi Racing, for the NASCAR thing. I moved to North Carolina to pursue that.
Okay, we're going to go up here to Bob, and then to Kenny, and then to the back to Matt Weaver.
Bob Hawkers, ESPN. Both your wins have come kind of on intermediate tracks, this being a short track. What do you feel like you need to do to kind of lift yourself into the realm of, okay, week in, week out, you're the guy to beat?
Yeah, as our race cars have become better, it's easier for me to learn. And last year especially, I thought I got better at these short tracks. I ran third here at Martinsville the first time, just outside the top 10 the second time. I can't remember where we finished the first Richmond, but we finished second at the second Richmond. Always fast at Bristol, so I've gotten better at the short track stuff. Just got to continue to work hard at it. Sprint car racing and sprint car racing is short track racing, but it's a totally different driving style than flat short tracks and stock cars. Sprint cars on a quarter mile feel like a stock car on a mile and a half at Charlotte, because you're still carrying a lot of throttle. So this is just, I never drove anything like this until just a few years ago when I started stock car racing. So my learning curve or whatever was way behind the guys who grew up doing this stuff. So it's taken me a little bit of time to learn it, but I feel like I'm competitive now and really could maybe challenge for some wins on these tracks.
Okay, we're going to go next to Kenny up front, and then we'll go to the back to Matt, and then we'll come back up front here to my man Charles.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. A couple of things. Kyle, you mentioned flight delays coming back. Do you have to fly commercial everywhere you go?
I fly commercial as much as I can and fly with the team. That's a lot of money to be private flying, especially the West Coast. So, I'm cheap with my money when it comes to flying. So, and I like to rack up the miles so I can maybe get some free trips down the road. So, yeah.
Okay. One other thing. There's been a lot of talk about you running races outside of the cup level stuff. Because you're the points leader and you've pretty much got a spot in the playoffs locked up and everything, do you see where your standing is in the Cup Series impacting your schedule outside of Cup?
No. I've got a deal with Chip where I can run 25 races, so I'm gonna fill all 25 of those up this year, and I enjoy doing it and had a lot of fun racing Placer this week, and I get especially now, I get asked that question all the time. When are they gonna shut you down? But I feel like everybody needs to encourage me and others to go race at your local short track and all that, because I feel like we've lost touch with our grassroots race fans. And I really think with me going back and doing that stuff, and Kyle Busch going around late model races throughout the year, it really kind of gets those local guys, local fans, back excited about NASCAR. Where I feel like the last decade or so they've kind of lost touch with it. So I feel like everybody should, instead of making Chip and Felix feel like they have to shut me down, should encourage them because it helps our fan base out.
Okay, we'll go to Matt and then to Charles.
Matt Weaver, Auto Week here in the back, Kyle. Two things for you. One, for years we've kind of talked about in the NASCAR community a race car that evolves to the point where we lose more and more of the aero dependency, where the leader gets out in front, or where if you have damage you can still survive that. Last week Keselowski took a car that was beat up pretty bad and drove it all the way to second. Are we now at the point to where we have cars that are more mechanical grip dependent than aero dependent, and is that a good thing right now?
Yeah, I think the racing's good right now. Obviously, you can always probably make it a little bit better, and you make the cars handle better in traffic and stuff like that. But I thought last week what Brad did was really good, and the leader getting out front by a ways is the leader is the fastest car more times than not. So I don't know, that I've felt like the racing has been really competitive this year. Watching the races back, the pack seems to be a little tighter for longer. So I don't know what the race fans think of it, but I know I think the racing's been good, and hopefully it continues to get better.
And secondly, you come from dirt racing, short track racing, where there's a choose cone. Martinsville, the bottom line is so important. Do you think a choose cone for short tracks would be kind of a cool way to let the drivers kind of control their own destiny inside or outside?
So there's no choose cone in anything I've ever done, but here at Martinsville and some other short tracks and even mile and a halves and stuff, I think, I don't know how it would go, but I think it'd be exciting for a little bit anyways. Here at Martinsville you'd probably get the first 3 or 4 guys to choose the bottom, and then you get the guy in fifth like, hey, I'm gonna go try it out and see if I can get the top lane to work, and maybe you net gain one spot, which is a success. So I think it'd be pretty cool to a place like this for sure.
Okay, we're going to come back up front here to Charles, and then we'll finish with Jeff.
Charles Rourke, Star News here at Martinsville. We're documenting what drivers think about Martinsville. So when you drive up on the property, what goes through your head?
It's this was probably the one race I looked forward to the least coming to early on in my NASCAR career. But I was thinking about this last night. Normally I'm depressed driving up here to Martinsville because I suck, but I've gotten better lately, so I actually enjoy this place some. So I get kind of excited coming up here, and the drive is not too long, and it's fun. So and it's got a cool trophy, the grandfather clock. The atmosphere here is always really cool. Now they got lights too, so if it does continue to rain, we can go night racing, which will be sweet.
Okay, we'll finish here with Jeff.
Jeff Gluck from jeffgluck.com. I'm sort of fascinated now by this commercial airlines thing. So I have a couple questions. First of all, do the other drivers give you crap at all for not having your own jet? And do you have any airline status? Does anybody recognize you when you fly?
Recognize maybe just a little bit, but I'm better now. I'll purchase a first class ticket now, but a couple years ago, I know Stenhouse and Danica, obviously she's a very wealthy person, but she didn't understand why I would purchase a coach ticket, and when coach is $120 versus first class being $500. I mean, I'm gonna save that money. So but now I fly first class, and two, Owen's older than 2 years old now, so you have to purchase him a seat, which really stinks. But it's I'll fly commercial as much as I can, especially to the West Coast stuff. Unless you do have your own jet, I think commercial's better. The team plane, you have to stop to refuel, no Wi-Fi. Commercial's not bad.
Peanuts, pretzels, or cookies?
I sleep. Sleep's more important than both of those.
Good deal. Thanks for joining us, Kyle, and good luck this weekend.
Thanks.